Hello and welcome to your Nobo 19.8. Starting right up front here, we're going to have your front power jack. You have a light just in case you need to hook up at night. Up and down for your power tongue jack there. Right behind this little black tab, if this ever electrically goes out, you can insert a tool here and manually override it to reel it in or out. Right behind that, we're going to have our propane tank. Left to open, right to close. Right behind here would be where your batteries would be. And then just to the right of that is going to be where your battery disconnect would be. So when it's on, it's going to be, taking battery power. If you turn it off, it'll cut off all power to the inside of your camper from your batteries. Moving on, you're going to have your storage in here. Right here, you're going to have your freshwater connection. So this is just going to be a gravity fill. So if you do go out to the middle of nowhere to go camping, you can go ahead and fill it up before you go. So while you're out there, you can turn on your water pump and have running water. Right here is going to be your city water connection. So when you do go to a campground, you can go ahead and insert that campground hose into here, and then that will then give you water through your lines. What I do highly recommend is a water pressure regulator, just because if the campground has too much pressure, it has the potential to blow your lines. So just to prevent that, you can also get a water pressure regulator. Just underneath here, you're gonna have your low point drains. And just behind that, you're gonna have your fresh tank drain. So like I said before, your fresh tank, if you, it's just a tank that you fill up. So if you do have excess water after your vacation, you can go ahead, unscrew the cap right there and watch it drain out. Moving to your water heater. Well, first off, here's your cap drain for that fresh tank. This is your water heater. This is your anode rod. This anode rod goes inside here, and that takes the beating instead of your tank. So what I mean by that is all the hard water will eat at this anode rod instead of your tank. So this will deteriorate over time, so you will eventually need to replace this. But it is a 1 1/16 socket to tighten down. You want to make sure it's completely tightened down before you turn on any sorts of water. To get this kicked on, all you do is screw it down, turn on the hot side of the faucet. It'll sputter for a little bit, but that's just all the air getting pushed out of your tank. Once you have a steady flow, then you can go ahead and turn this on. So to take this out, because water does get stagnant, just go ahead and pull this pressure release valve here. Make sure it's straight out like that. You'll hear it hiss. Once it's done hissing, go ahead and take your socket, pull this out, and it'll drain right out of that. Once it's done draining, go ahead, pop that down, and go ahead and close it right back up. Moving to your tires. That little green cap does indicate that your tires are going to be filled with nitrogen. You are able to fill them with regular air. It doesn't inflate or deflate with temperature change. Here's your cable satellite input there. Your camp power or your shore power here. Storage here. And then your sewer system here. So this is going to be your sewer drain, and this is going to be your black and gray tank. Your black tank on the right is going to be toilet water, and the gray tank is going to be shower, sink, stuff like that. So what I do highly recommend is doing the black tank first, just because it's the dirtiest water out of the two. Doing that, open it up, let it drain out of there. Once it's done, go ahead and close it, open the gray tank, and then go ahead and flush it out. I recommend doing the gray tank last, just because it's the cleanest water, so it gives it one last final rinse before you go ahead and put your hands back on your sewer hose. Your ladder is going to be rated for 250 pounds. This is backup camera prepped, so if you do decide to purchase a backup camera, it'll go right in there. Black tank flush. So like I mentioned before, your black tank is going to be a toilet. So that means toilet paper will get stuck on the way out. So go ahead, do your black tank, pull it open, let it drain out. Once it's done draining, go ahead and insert a pressurized hose into here, and that activates a sprinkler inside the black tank to help kind of flush everything out that may have gotten stuck. So once again, I do recommend doing the black tank first, leaving it open, doing the black tank flush. Once you're done with the flush, go ahead, take the hose out of here, walk back over, put the black little thing in, and pull the gray one out, and then that will then complete your sewer journey. Moving along, you're going to have a spray port here and a LP quick connect, just in case you do need propane for a griddle. This is going to be your furnace exhaust. So your furnace exhaust, this kicks out the excess heat from inside of your camper. So this does get very hot, so if you have any little kids or someone who may not know, just tell them do not touch that. You have your LED lights, and then right in there, it's kind of hard to see, but that's going to be your porch light. 110 outlets right in there. And then moving to your stairs, all you want to make sure your door is completely open, otherwise it'll scratch there. Otherwise, just make sure the little white tab is behind the frame so it doesn't move. For your legs, to adjust them, all you do is push this down. You can see it already kind of starting to move. You just press that down and this will then drop or raise, however you decide to put it. You want to make sure, all I did was pull that blue tab, but you want to make sure your stairs are completely flush with the metal piece there. Because if you do go to slam your door, it'll actually dent and scrape the bottom of it and potentially rip off this part here. To open your awning, you want to make sure your door is open, because if it's closed, you want to make sure it's closed more, because if it is fully open, the awning will get stuck there. On the topic of your awning, right on top of it, the little black tab indicates that it is able to manually override. So if that does ever electrically go out, you can pop that tab off, insert a tool, and then you're able to reel it back in or out. Then you're gonna have your griddle here, and then your table right there. All that does is go right on that little back piece there. Moving to the inside of your camper, you're gonna have your entire power panel here. I'm just gonna start off on the right to give us some light here. Porch light, if you have it up, it'll be that LED. You can turn it off, and if you push down, it'll turn orange. Awning LED, middle switch there. Slide in or out. I'm gonna move this out. And then after that, go ahead, place those right on top of there. Turn it into like a lounge area. And then you can also insert your table there too, which I left up. Sorry for the shaky camera. And that is what it's going to look like when it's fully out, along with the table. Moving along, awning extend and retract. I'm not going to be able to fully extend it, but I will show you the basics of it. So it just reels out. Can get to about there. So the main things you're going to want to look for when your awning is fully extended, this little flap that still has some excess on it, it will kind of come down and hang, and you'll be able to see the black barge sitting on right behind it. Once you see that, do not keep going, because it will actually reel in the opposite way. And then to pitch it for the rain, all you do is grab right before this elbow, pull, and you can see it kind of lean down, and then all the water will then lean off of that side. Push it back up before you reel it in. They say you can reel it in completely extended, but I just do it this way. Now that that's in, we're gonna move on to this switch here. Doesn't do anything until you realize, you flip it off. It's going to be your front cap lights right up there. Bottle opener here. Then right down here, you're gonna have some excess light around the corner from this switch here. Moving over to your keys. 2, that's all you get. Opens everything inside, main doors, and then you can also open all your baggage doors and lock them with that as well. Light here, fan, buttons right there. And then with this, you just press down, twist to light, and then go ahead and light it with a lighter. Coming right down here, you can have your microwave open. Let's just do a quick start, 30 seconds. Just to show you it works. And then down here, this is pretty cool. If you're sweeping, you can go ahead and all you do is pop that up to the front. And you can push all of it inside here, which then comes into this little road vac into a little bag. The main thing about the road vac, it comes with an extend attachment there, so you can go around and suck up all the corners and whatnot. And then to access the bag, slide that over, put your finger there and kind of pull and open. You can see the bag there. Those do not come with it, so you will have to actually buy those. You can just look on the back of the bag and they'll tell you which ones it is. Otherwise, to turn this on with the attachment, it's just a switch here. Just like that. Coming up here to your fridge. Hold to turn on. You can adjust the numbers. The closer you get to 1, the warmer it's going to get. The closer you get to 5, the colder it's going to get. This means you're doing it for your fridge. This means you're doing it for your freezer. And then the nighttime mode, when you hold it down, it just makes it quieter at night. Inside your bathroom, over to the right here. Let's get this light on. All right, these panels, it'll focus, there we go. Starting off on the left, we don't have any batteries, so it's not gonna be on at the moment. This is gonna be your solar charge controller. You can do amp and volt level and then battery type. This is going to be your heated holding tank system. So if you can read underneath, so I'd like to focus. It's your fresh tank, gray tank, and black tank. All that is when you flip them on, it activates just a little heater to help them not freeze if you're going camping in a colder environment. Moving over to the right, it's going to be all of your tank readers. Battery reader, fresh tank, black tank, and gray tank, and then water heater down here and water pump. There we go. So that water heater, like I said, make sure that anode rod is in. You have a steady flow coming out of your hot side of the faucet, and then you can turn that on. For your water pump, you're out in the middle of nowhere, your fresh tank. This reads full. You can go ahead, flip that on, and start using that water. Otherwise, for your toilet, you are going to need toilet solution along with RD grade toilet paper. The toilet paper will help break down easier, so it won't end up clogging your lines. And then the solution will help break down solids and smells. Moving up to the fan, pull down to unlock. It's just pretty subtle. Turn on here. You can go through the different modes there. Open or close with this. Turn that off. You can close it and then there we go. And then you just push up to lock. So down, unlock, push up to lock. Moving over to your shower miser here. So all this is a little valve on your shower. So when you do turn this on, you can turn on the hot side, flip that switch, and then it'll actually circulate the hot water or the water to make it hot. So you don't have to worry about wasting water or anything like that. So all you do, make sure your water heater is on, turn on the hot side, flip that valve, it'll sit there and circulate. So if you're grabbing a towel, clothes, using the bathroom, anything like that, once you're ready, you can go ahead and flip that. The water will then come out nice and warm. Bed's here, just box. Down here is going to be your breakers and fuses. So everything is going to be labeled just like a house would be for your breakers. And then for your fuses, I do recommend bringing extra just in case, but that's just a personal recommendation. You can pick them up at any auto parts store, so like an AutoZone, for example. And then right here, it's going to be your thermostat. So this little line down here, this button, it's going to control everything. So it can go from fan to cool high, cool low auto, cool high auto, heat, and then once again, fan low and fan high. Otherwise, you just adjust the temp with the higher and lower arrows there. And that's it for that. For your AC, if it is blowing out, you can choose how high you want it to go or low you want it to go. You can kind of point it in the right direction. Otherwise, if I did forget anything or you have any questions, just go ahead and write them down, and then when you come in for your show through, any of us show through guys can actually help you figure out your questions or concerns. But besides that, I hope you enjoy.